This is another iRaw podcast.
Buckle up for this one. The theme of the week is scam. Welcome to Wildly Unplug, sharing stories of nature, conservation, and creativity. Discover what develops when you unplug and step outdoors. I'm recording this on a Friday because next week is going to be a big one. Connor has exams next week of his senior year of high school. It's going to be a really emotional week. My parents are coming back into town and my husband's flying up from Key West. So life is about to get really full really quickly. And I've already completed my submissions for my 10 rejections to go after. And honestly, people don't respond over the weekend, or they rarely do. So it feels safe to hit record on this one. This week's podcast photo cover is from a little over a year ago. And I was one of a handful of artists selected out of hundreds. And my artwork is wrapped around an electrical box on Winton Road through Arts Connect in Springfield, Ohio. And I'm still absolutely amazed and eternally grateful that I was selected. It is such a surreal feeling to see your artwork standing taller than you out in public. So I needed that reminder this week. I hope it's an important reminder to anybody who's reading, listening, or watching this, that if you're feeling down, try to remember the good and remember the things that light you up. Surprise, surprise, there were scams afoot this week. I already talked a little bit about the People's Artist competition. At first, it felt really exciting. I submitted my information and it sounded like my work was going to be going before judges. And a few days later, I got an email saying I was selected, and it was really exciting. There was a twist. It's the People's Artist, which now means you need people to vote for you online. And don't worry, if you don't have enough people to vote for you, you can just purchase the votes. So I had a brief moment of weakness where I thought maybe I could buy a few votes. I was in 9th place and I wonder if I could push myself forward. And when I tried, it wanted to log me into Facebook, and for some reason it wasn't connecting. And honestly, I took that as a sign that I should stop pursuing it. And I am really glad that I did, because one of the artists I follow, Caitlin Page, she's got about 500,000 followers. She posted, "Not to be the crusher of dreams, I'm pretty sure the Johnny Depp, the People's Artist contest is a scam. I have seen dozens of artists now participating in this and asking for votes. They seem to be accepting anyone and everyone, and there is a pay-to-play aspect. Not to mention this company, Colossal, seems to be some sort of roundup charity, and they've had similar contests in the past where no winner was ever announced. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like people should know about this as artists. We are somewhat vulnerable in this sphere." And I truly believe we are vulnerable in this sphere. Absolutely, Caitlin. The post had over 800 comments from artists either agreeing with what she had to say and also pointing out the same thing that I did, that they felt very excited, and then it was kind of like, ew, now I got to go get votes, and they were disappointed. Other people were pointing out similar contest models from other companies, and several people even speculated that Johnny Depp's promotional video attached to the campaign looked AI generated. And honestly, I kind of hope that it is. I mean, that would really suck if it's AI generated and they're tricking people, but also I'm a huge fan of Pirates of the Caribbean. And, you know, celebrities or celebrity likenesses often steer people wrong. And look, maybe there is technically a winner somewhere, but the whole bait and switch aspect of this, congratulations, you've been selected, only to discover the next phase revolves around pushing for votes and purchasing votes, it felt really gross and manipulative. Right now I'm sitting at 24th, and honestly, I don't even know how I can remove myself from this whole contest. Then came the next one. Thankfully, I've been keeping really good records thanks to that tracker Ashley from Substack created. I originally thought that this contest was called Hug Billboard in Times Square, but the actual organization attached to it was Art Innovation. And I received a rejection email that in the preview, it showed, "We regret to inform you." And I initially wasn't even going to fully open it because I thought, okay, I'm rejected. I'll just put it in the tracker and move on. But I noticed there was a pricing sheet attached. And that made me think, wait, why is there a pricing sheet attached to a rejection? So I opened the email and it turns out my work wasn't selected, but for anywhere between $250 to $5,000, I could still participate in the exhibit. And this was part of the email. Thank you sincerely for participating in our open call and for sharing your project with us. Following the selection progress, we regret to inform you that your work has not been included among those selected for this specific exhibit. However, we truly appreciate the quality of your proposal and would be very pleased to still welcome you within the exhibit. For this reason, we would like to offer you the opportunity to participate by purchasing one of the last exhibit slots currently available, thus gaining access to the exhibit program. And you know what? For a split second, a very tiny split second, I almost considered it. I mean, $250, yeah, that's a lot, but I mean, come on, Times Square, that sounds incredible. And then I stopped and thought about it. If some artists were chosen for free while others have to pay thousands to participate, then this really isn't about artistic growth or quality, it's about who's willing to spend the money. And if my art wasn't strong enough to be selected on its own merit, then paying my way isn't going to make me a magically better artist. Honestly, I recovered from that rejection rather quickly, and I was happy to add it to my list of rejections and move on. But a few hours later, I got an Instagram message, and it was a request. Instagram, for some reason, blocked the message. It said it had words that I blocked. Upon reading it, it doesn't. And I'm glad I was curious and looked into it more because it was another artist warning me that the Art Innovation was allegedly running a sales funnel disguised as an open call. This is what she wrote to me. "This is bad. I'm letting everyone in our community know Art Innovation Gallery is a scam. It's a sales funnel. Nobody won. Everybody got the same rejection letter, and then you won the honor of paying them thousands of dollars to have your art on some side billboard. They're not even affiliated with the actual Freeze art exhibit. Don't give them your money and report them immediately. Artists shouldn't pay more than $40 to $50 tops for a jury fee, not thousands of dollars. You didn't get selected, you got invoiced. This is a vanity project. Your name will go on an email list that will send you pay-to-play vanity projects. As if it wasn't insulting enough. Please spread the word." Now, this is all allegedly and what I am being told, so I don't know if it's true, but you know what? It kind of feels that way, doesn't it? And one line hit really hard. You didn't get selected, you got invoiced. And that moment, it finally clicked. This wasn't an opportunity, it's marketing. And honestly, that part feels heavier than rejection because rejection can teach you something. Scams just drain you of money, of time, and of hope. Now, the last rejection this week is actually one that I gave. And yes, I am 100% counting it. I decided not to move forward with onbento.com. Now, this is purely based on my own experience and my own speculation, so it's all alleged, and this is my experience. So onbento.com, at first it sounds incredible. They help creators pitch to brands. There were dream collaborations sitting in there. National Geographic, Faber-Castell, Paper Republic, and so many more. But there is a catch. To fully use the platform, they want access to my Gmail account and Google Drive. And I just couldn't do it. It was really, really tempting. And some of the reviews looked really good. And even part of me worried that I might be walking away from opportunities. Something about it just doesn't it doesn't sit right with me and I have to follow my gut on this one. And honestly, one thing this challenge is teaching me is that rejection isn't always about someone else saying no to you. Sometimes it's you saying no to something that doesn't align. For a brief moment, I thought I was going to be blowing the challenge out of the park this week with 30 submissions, but alas, if it feels too good to be true, it is. Now, this week felt heavy. There were moments where I genuinely questioned myself, moments where I thought, maybe nobody wants me unless I pay, maybe I'm not good enough, who do I even think that I am? And layered on top of all of that, I've still been posting YouTube videos, and I only get a small amount of traction. It is slowly building. And thankfully, I enjoy making them so it doesn't feel like burnout. And in fact, I'm recording video this week. Hello, if you're watching. But, scams hit differently than rejection. Rejection says, not this time. Scams say, you are never even really being considered. And that part feels soul-sucking. But I do want to end this week on some bright spots. I worked up the courage to reach out to Jeff Corwin, who is a wildlife conservationist and TV host, to be on the podcast, and it would be absolutely a dream if he was on the show. I grew up watching him. He has influenced the way that I do things for conservation. So that would be amazing. Even if his team responds back, it would be really cool. And I also have an opportunity at Big Pine Key to possibly be in a gallery. Nothing official yet, but she wants me to come in person in a few weeks, so that feels hopeful. And I submitted several psychological thriller short stories this week too. And I feel really good even just creating them, because it's giving me a selection of stories to choose from to bring with me when I am finally able to participate in the Key West Writers Guild meetings. They bring their work to the meetings and they read it aloud. So when I'm back in town, I'll finally be able to participate and meet some local writers and hopefully meet some new friends. I also submitted to the Women Who Podcast Awards, and I actually love their submission process. Instead of just the numbers or popularity like we talked about earlier, you answer thoughtful questions and submit a 7-minute clip for the judges to review. That feels fair. That feels human. And after this week, I think I needed that reminder. So here's to a better week. Next week, you can check out my Substack for the current stats of where everything's sitting at. I think I'm still in the positive for accepted, and I've got about 20 rejections, and there's still a lot of just waiting in review. So I believe we're at 88 total submissions. So again, here's to a better week. Hope you all have a great weekend, or had a great weekend, because you're listening to this on Monday. And until next time, unplug, get outside, see what develops. Stay wild, my friends. Wildly Unplugged podcast is a production of Wild Development Studio. The views, opinions, and statements expressed by individuals during Wild Development Studio's productions do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Wild Development Studio or its affiliates. Participation in any activities, expeditions, or adventures discussed or promoted during our content may involve inherent risks. It is strongly advised that individuals conduct thorough research, seek professional guidance, and take all necessary precautions before engaging in such activities or venturing into wilderness areas. Wild Development Studio, its representatives, or employees shall not be held responsible for any injury, loss, damage, accident, or unforeseen incident that may occur as a result of participating in activities inspired by or discussed in our content. By choosing to engage with our content or act upon any information provided, individuals do so at their own risk and discretion.
For more great iRaw podcasts, visit irawpod.com. That's IROARPOD.com.